of people is first. So Wade, for the inner core today on the DNA of people.
Well, I think the first thing is the basic question: how does personality masteries, the DNA for people, apply in your business from a leadership perspective? How does it apply in your specific business? Whoever wants to take it.
Question again, one more time.
How does personality masteries apply in your business from a leadership perspective? You go into it from the terms of from a big picture or a specific thing. What is it that makes it?
Specific picture for me looks like when I'm talking to somebody on the phone, which is where the vast majority of the people I talk to in my business are on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly I have to figure out who I'm talking to and how I present what I present and when I present it, if I present it.
Right.
Because the whole thing is not selling insurance for me. It's all about qualifying somebody to see if they're even open to looking. That's the only thing. All I got to do is set an appointment. All I got to do is set an appointment. So if I can find out who they are and ask questions immediately within the first minute or two, I'm saving people time. And now I'm figuring out if they're a driver, if I'm thinking they're more expressive, if I'm figuring out they're more amiable, if they're more analytic, or whatever combination they are of that. I got to figure it out pretty quickly. And then I've got to figure out whether this is, because one of the first things I say in leadership toward all the personalities is, listen, I don't want to waste your time or mine. I just want to find out if this is something that's really going to make an impact. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing I do. So it's got to find out who I'm talking to, even if we're moving on to the next step.
What do you feel your strengths are in that regard and your weaknesses are?
I'll tell you what my weaknesses are, is that I'm too expressive most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to get my energy level down to the point where I can actually be more relatable. So when I'm talking to you on the phone, I literally have to go, so Wade, you were looking for some help with your health insurance. Maybe you can share with me.
So your awareness of the personality masteries affects even how you relate.
I have
on
to,
the phone, yeah.
because I'll make 10 calls, nothing. And I'm like, what's happening?
What do you feel is missing, if anything, in your business that personality masteries could make better that you're not already doing?
I don't want to think about it anymore. I want it to be so part of my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
I automatically shift without thinking about it anymore. I'm thinking about it too much.
Are you open to a coaching here?
Yeah.
Okay, just an idea. So when I do my sales training, we have the same module, but we call it versatile salesperson. That's the exact same, amiable, expressive, analytical driver. One of the things that we key into is once you have figured out who that person is, what their style is, how am I going to apply versatility to the situation?
Right.
So I even have an app on my phone that says if I'm an amiable and I'm meeting with a driver, here's what I need to focus on. If I'm an analytical meeting with an amiable, how can I get to a point where I don't need to look at my phone and rely upon this
Right.
to know how I'm going to apply creating comfort and creating influence. Because if I can't influence that person, they're not buying from me. So I think it's a matter of finding out what the style is, but then what am I going to do next after that?
I've got that. It's, I want it to be more. I want it to be more automatic and less mechanical.
It takes practice.
And that's exactly right.
Practice.
So maybe it's really about you being more versatile and realizing I'm really expressive. How am I going to apply myself in a way such that no matter who I'm in front of, you know, again, maybe slowing my speech down, maybe less. In my heart, I'm an expressive person.
Sure.
But I don't show up that way a lot of the time.
So
So I can relate to what you're saying.
A leader, what can you do to help your
I can send the Word
or your
document
employees
to
or
download.
whatever it is that you're leading? What can you do
Is that what you're trying to
to
build?
help them learn to apply personality mastery so that they can be more effective?
I'm just in the phase right now of recruiting. I got
Uh-huh.
2 new people coming on board, but I'm in a unique situation where I'm not training them. The people that are working with me I'm focusing on just building my business at this point.
Mhm.
So how come you and Bruce, what can I do to get through to everybody that when you guys see a success because of something that you've learned, you should be at minimum, you know, emailing myself and Teresa with
Right.
that success. And you guys didn't do that this last time immediately.
With Bruce, me and Bruce with,
Your success with 2 of Amy's connections?
okay,
You brought on 2 people. 2?
yeah, oh, you mean in my business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me right away.
Shame on me,
Because you don't understand the natural law.
right,
You don't understand the natural law that, box 12.
right.
And so when good
Success
things happen,
equals the seed reproduction principle.
right,
Box 12.
box 12, and so you got to get that out. And so I can go ahead and get that out to an extended network. And so the massive amount of time and resources that I'm investing in to the entire Chinese network, I can go ahead and get that out because for whatever reason, you were able to do something.
Right,
And so you can take that seed and it can produce a lot more, but you don't let me know. And Bruce has a success and he doesn't let me know. I'm like, why don't people let me know on this stuff?
it's still the inner workings, and it's not an excuse, it's just, it's what, the question I keep asking more and more is, why don't I think of doing it automatically? And obviously, because it's not at that level. I mean, one of the things that you asked on the last thing was, what's the key of success? The seed reproduction principle. Because nobody had the question on that, nobody had the answer. And we've been here, I don't know how many months, right? We've
Success
talked about,
always.
right?
Right.
So you said, okay, then write it out 100 times. This isn't, me turning in my page, that's me turning in my page. I wrote it out 100 times because if for some reason, as soon as you said it, I knew that that's what I needed, and I've had success, and why didn't I automatically do it?
Can I go back? I want to know, when you meet somebody on the phone, do you ask them about the 4 shapes?
No.
Okay, so how do you know what personality you're dealing with if you're not doing the test?
Tone, how they respond to the questions that I give them. So it's just like,
So how accurate is that?
Well,
it's,
a really cool question is, if you ask them the shapes, would that go ahead and create more effectiveness for you?
Okay.
I don't know,
How would you know?
because I haven't asked.
No. How would you know if it was?
If I asked it over again and I'd see more success.
And when you try it, are you going to see more success?
I don't know,
Probably not.
yeah,
Why?
Because when you try a new behavior, it never works.
right.
So at what point does it become successful?
When you go ahead and do it over and over again enough, or you go ahead and have somebody who knows what they're doing do it, and then you listen very intently, and then they can shorten that cycle immensely. So if Kevin had one of his prospects talk to me and say, listen, I got a guy and he's real interesting. If he had one of his prospects talk to me and I did that, it would probably shorten his cycle by 6 months to a year. And most of the time, if it takes 6 months, at 5 months and 30 days, people give up. They're like, I've been trying this, and so I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So if you can find somebody who's already mastered it,
So I bring my recruits to you.
just 1 or 2 I would be more than happy to help you with. 1 or 2,
Well, it's
because
interesting.
the speed upon which you can develop. I mean, Scott Allred out in Utah, he had one of his people come, and this guy owns 10 companies and really successful, and he's a student of the arts. He really understands. He is an artist. He's a craftsman. And he said, I've never experienced anything like I did in 30 minutes. And he's just, bam. So what it does is it builds trust.
Right.
So you build trust and it builds connection, and then you're able to move at a much faster rate because you're building trust. When you build trust faster, plus when you ask the shape, it creates intrigue and interest.
So, let me, quick role play.
Sure.